Yo, today I've got a review of the new Taylor Swift album, Midnight. This is the first Taylor Swift album that I've listened to. I've heard songs, of course, some of her most popular ones, and also some from Folklore, which was one of her most recent albums. And seeing that literally everyone is listening to this, 1.6 million first week sales are you crazy? Are you crazy? I thought, why not? Let me give it a shot. Plus, I like the cover, so that kind of convinced me to listen to it. I sort of had no expectations going into it. I really don't know much about Taylor Swift, and I kind of didn't know what to expect. The only thing I knew is that it would be a pop album, most likely. And the only other thing I know about Taylor Swift is the Kanye thing and that she's dated about 700 people, okay? That's all I know. The general sound is pop, but it's a bit hollow and spaced out. If I had to make a comparison, I would say it reminds me of Lord's older music, like Melodrama. I was getting that type of vibe from it, although not exactly the same. It's somewhat similar, and the production was very good. It had some of the most quality production I've heard this year, in terms of how clean it sounded and the mixing and choice of sounds, but not just that, also a few ideas on here. Even the sequencing of the album, I have to give it props for that. I think it's actually sequenced pretty well. The songs flow into each other kind of nicely, and the idea being that each song is like a problem that made her stay up until midnight, hence the name Midnight and so on. It's kind of nice, it's kind of cute. But back to the production, knowing Taylor Swift, the big pop star, I maybe expected a bit more of a mainstream poppy sound, like, what you would expect to hear. Now, not saying that this isn't pretty mainstream sounding, because it is pretty accessible music, but maybe not quite what I had imagined when I thought of Taylor Swift. I was thinking more generic pop production, but I think there's actually some good qualities and ideas that were for the most part executed well. Like, for example, the outro part of Labyrinth sounds grand and glorious, a sound that I love, and I think it's pulled off pretty well. That moment is for sure the highlight of the whole album for me, but there are also a lot of segments that I like throughout the album. The chorus and Snow on the Beach honestly sounds great. I like how everything is pretty low-key, as well as the drums. You can feel them, but they're sort of just in the background, and the vocals kind of float over everything, and it sounds pretty nice. Mastermind definitely has some ideas as well, although I feel a bit disappointed by that song because it really could have been great. It just kind of comes off as wasted potential. But yeah, in general, a lot of ideas that I like on this album. To talk about the lyrics and the songwriting all throughout, I think it's actually pretty solid, but there's also some lines that just don't come across great to me. For example, on Anti-Hero, a track I find to be kind of catchy, but ultimately it's a bit ruined for me by the lyrics, while on other tracks like You're on Your Own Kid, which I might also add has some decent production with build-up, I feel like the focus on that song are the lyrics, and they do a good job in making the song enjoyable. You can get drawn into the lyrics and focus on them and just listen to them. The general subject matter is love. It's Taylor Swift. I don't know what I expected. I kind of maybe wanted to see something else, but it is what it is. But I think there's actually some decent terminologies here, like the term snow on the beach being used for love and how it's kind of rare. That was pretty nice. I quite like that metaphor. And at least the topic that she talks about, the lyrics are pretty solid all throughout. Also, I was looking stuff up about the content of the songs here, and I stumbled upon this. Number 1. Lavender Haze. Gaylord theorists, Swifties who believe Swift is bisexual and has dated several of her female friends. That's like if I was to come up with a theory that, I don't know, fucking Kendrick Lamar. Let's take him for example. That Kendrick Lamar is gay and called myself a gay-mar theorist. That shit is ass. They need a new name for that, okay? But anyways, back to the album. I like that the album is not too long. It's 13 songs in 44 minutes. Although she did drop a deluxe, basically, a 3 a.m. edition of the album, which, look, I ain't listened to it. I don't know if I'll listen to it, but it just sort of sounds like a cash grab to me. Now, I know I've praised this album quite a bit, but one of my least favorite things on this album was actually Taylor herself. Her vocals, should I say. Her voice doesn't really touch me or move me in any way, if I'm being honest. And for example, in the intro of You're on Your Own Kid, I just think it doesn't sound good at all. And Vigilante shit, probably my least favorite song of the album, and the reason for that is maybe Taylor's delivery on that. And the lyrics are also not great in my opinion. The delivery she tries to do with the evil sounding voice, if you can even call it that, it just doesn't come off well at all. And same thing on Midnight Rain, the vocal effect on the chorus is really just not good to me. Before we get into my favorite songs, make sure you like and subscribe. Alright, let's get into it. To get to my favorite tracks, I'll start with Labyrinth. Already talked about this song, but I really love how calm it is until the climax of the song, the outro, which sounds amazing. Maroon, I quite like the chorus on here, and it sounds solid and it's pretty catchy. Anti-Hero, although I don't really like the lyrics too much, I do like the sound of the song. Snow on the Beach, as I said, I love the metaphor. Production on the song is great, it sounds beautiful, and a lot of portions and parts of the song that I like. And also Lana Del Rey, although not really noticeable, she does pretty good. And lastly, You're on Your Own Kid. Great lyrics here while also sounding great. The production on Midnights is generally good. Good sound choice, it sounds quality with some solid songwriting over it, for the most part. I'm gonna give this project a light 7 out of 10. That's gonna be it for my review. Tell me what you thought of the album. If you liked it, tell me why. If you didn't, also tell me why. I'm looking to hear you guys' opinions. I also did a ranking of every song on this project, so check that out if you want to. Please make sure you like and subscribe. That would mean so much to me, as it would help push my video and my channel into the YouTube algorithm. But yeah, I guess I'll see you guys next time. Peace.